Speaking of apologies, the brave men and women on the border, especially the horse division, that their lives were put in shambles. One of the things I have on my policy list was that would you consider giving them a day at the White House, a moment to be recognized?
Are we talking what they were saying about the whips and everything
yes.
else, which didn't exist?
Not just them, but their families. When the President of the United States comes out and condemns them.
You do it. You set it up. We win. I'm there because...
Coming up, the people's president sits down with Tyrus from Outkick and has a very personal conversation. The people's president shows up on Outkick with Tyrus and has a very personal conversation. And they go a little bit more in detail as far as the background of Donald Trump. All the things that the public does not really hear about him, the things that he does for several different people out there that he runs across throughout the country. One being, he's giving money to people who are looking for business loans. He's, giving money to dog shelters. He's helping out families, flying them here, flying them there. And of course, he doesn't want any recognition for it. He's not looking at that. That's not what he's about. Okay. That's why I dubbed him the people's president. Okay.
Nelson Mandela and 80 of his constituents were trying to come to the United States.
Yeah.
The United States government wasn't helping him. No one was helping him. You chartered a 727 plane for their entire trip.
Yeah.
How is somebody, and that's crazy because you can talk about anything, why is it hard for you to talk about the things you've done? It runs in your family. Your father helped build a synagogue. I mean, why do we not know those things?
It's something that I've never, I love doing it. I don't need praise for it. I don't, we all like a certain level of praise, but I've never, I just like helping people. I help a lot of people, and I enjoy doing it, and I never talk about it. It's nice that you bring it up. I also think it's not a narrative that the press likes talking about, for me.
But I think it would help a lot of the American people who have been misled, I myself included. Now, listen, I'm voting for you now because of the man you are, not just because of the policies, because not every American will get the opportunity that I had to saw who you were backstage. And that's why I have this list. I mean, I have testimonials. We can't go through all of them because
I want to see them.
Now, this was I had to dig deep.
I like that.
You donated $100,000 to raise dogs. You're not even a dog guy. Yeah. Explain that.
Well, that's Lara. So I have the wife of Eric, and she's a terrific person. She's actually now a very big and important person in getting elected in the Republican Party. She comes from North Carolina. She loves the dogs. And I did that in her honor, actually. And, if you listen to her, boy, dogs are treated very badly. They're, some evil people having to do even with dogs. So I did that for my daughter-in-law, more so than me. I don't know that much about dogs, but I want to take care of them. And I had an opportunity. As president, you can do a lot of things. I did a lot. The size of the kennels, the size of the cage, there's like cages that they're in. And it's terrible. It's like you have no room, no nothing. And she came in with a whole group of people. These are people that really fight hard for dogs. I mean, you have people that fight. And she's a good person, so I did it for her.
I have hundreds of employees who have said things like, you've paid medical bills, you paid mortgages, rents, you've helped get family members. There's one story in here where a brother came in with a business plan, nobody would hear him. You gave him 10 minutes, you shook his hand, and you cut him a check. Yeah. Why is it so hard for you and even your team? I'm a little upset. These are things that I think the American people need to know. And I get it, you're humble because you're a father first.
Yeah.
And a grandfather.
He's going to do what he can because he looks at it as he's got to take care of his family too. All right. And right now, nobody's family is being taken care of. Tyrus went on, to first start talking about the border agents and how mistreated and misguided and misled they are being right now. Especially the mounted unit with the U.S. Border Patrol. Yes, the U.S. Border Patrol does have a mounted unit, and that was the whole, the whole thing about the, with the whipping and telling them, everybody it reminded them of the KKK, how they were, handling things on the border. So Tyler brings up a good point. Mr. President, why don't we, bring them people to the White House, for the day with their family, give back. They're dealing with a lot of stuff down there at the border that nobody else sees, nobody else is dealing with. So let's bring them to the White House. Let's give them a little bit of recognition for all the shit they've gone through the past few years. So and Trump is like, hey, set it up. I'm there. But we had to win first, obviously. Trump has to win first. So I think that's a good thing. People are bringing up some good ideas for, his new, I wouldn't say really a campaign, but, once he's in the office, things that people see out here on everyday life to where he can implement and help them out. For an example, law enforcement and our military. Okay. I've been in both. I'm prior military and I'm current law enforcement right now. So I know what it's like out here on the streets. Okay. Officers out there need to be taken care of. They need to know somebody has their back. Just like our military, they need to know they're going to be taken care of. Their family's going to be taken care of, and we got their back no matter what. And right now, Tyrus brought up a good idea about taking care of our military, our veterans, and our police officers. Take a look.
I was in Oklahoma doing a stand-up show, and I thought I was going to cancel because I wasn't leaving the TV screen because I'm watching an assassination attempt on our president.
People were watching that. There's no question about it. That was a big deal.
But I went anyways to the show thinking no one would come, and they came. And instead of doing a stand-up show, I did a Q&A to talk about it. And there was a lot of veterans that were there that were talking about how much they support you and they believe in you, and that they were generally concerned. But they said they had no fear because when they saw you stand, you stood for them. Because veterans, our police,
right,
our first responders have been, forget the moral outrage of how they're treated.
They've been
the funding, stuff like that.
Sure.
And you have been doing some stuff with taxes. Yeah. Now, I did a little bit, and I'm not a mathematician, but I did a little bit of checking. One of the things, one of the policies, like, would you consider thinking about for our veterans, for those who serve, for those of our police department, to where their taxation is the fact that they're giving their bodies to this country instead of having to pay taxes? None of these cities want to give them raises, so at least let them keep their money.
I've never heard that before, and it's like a very interesting thing. It's the kind of thing you would think of, right? Because they have been treated so terribly.
It's going to take more than a hug. We need to, and here's the deal. If you're looking at serving in this country, in the military, or a police officer, or a firefighter, and you're young and you're coming up, and you don't have to pay taxes because you're paying it's almost an incentive to where we can get people interested.
And other countries do that, as you know.
Yeah.
Other countries do that.
Of course they do.
In spades. It's something I would think about. It's something that nobody ever brought up. I've never heard it. It's interesting you're bringing it up. You're like my tax person there. But, something has to be done.
Yes.
Damn, it takes somebody like Tyrus to throw out something like that. I can tell you from personal experience, yes, that would be grateful if Trump would consider doing something like that. Not only is it going to help our current military, our veterans, to help our veterans get off the street. We've got homeless veterans out there. All right, we're not even worried about them, which pisses me off because we're more worried about people walking across our border right now, taking care of them, giving them everything. But yet we got starving and homeless veterans out there on our streets right now. All right, so I commend Tyrus for bringing that topic up. Okay, it would help out law enforcement. It will help out our military. It will help out our veterans. Because you know what? When you work for a government agency, you don't get raises like in the corporate and private world. All right. Law enforcement, police officers, military, they're government employees, whether you're local, state, or federal. Okay. We don't get the raises that the normal people get out there, like I said, in the private and corporate worlds. Okay. We don't get bonuses like that. So not being taxed on like property taxes and stuff like that, that would help out tremendously. And like I said, once again, I commend Tyrus for bringing that up because not only is it going to help us out, like I said, it's also going to drive up recruitment for everything across the board. It'll drive up military recruitment enlistments. It'll drive up police officers right now because right now everybody's leaving law enforcement. They're tired of dealing with this shit. It's ridiculous out there. They're tired of dealing with it. So I think that's going to be a good thing moving forward if Trump were to get elected again, which I think the damn election is going to be over with by 11 o'clock. Okay, it's going to be completely red. It's going to be done by 11 o'clock, and we ain't going to have to worry about some of the states that report, finally, post their tallies in on Thursday or Friday. I think it's going to be done and over with on election night at 11 o'clock. Mark my words on that. But yes, Trump has to win. I think that's a good idea. Let's take care of our military. Let's take care of our veterans, and let's take care of our law enforcement. Now, what other person do you know that can be so down to earth, talking one-on-one with some average Joe Blow like Tyrus? Okay, the people's president, Trump, talking to Tyrus about the whole equestrian, moving horses, and what the sport's about, and what it is, and how financial costly it can be. He's sitting down, he's talking one-on-one. It's not this, I gotta be politically correct. Okay, this is what people are not seeing, and I think this is what they were trying to get out of this whole one-on-one. I wouldn't even really call it an interview. It's more of, let's talk one-on-one. Let's just sit down and let's just have bro talk. And it came to the point where Tyrus was actually invited over to Trump's house for dinner while he's in Florida with his daughter with the equestrian. I mean, what other president does that? I mean, how do y'all not see what this man's about? He is about the people. He cares about the people, and he's running for the people. And hopefully come November 5th, he's going to win for the people.
And, I know you have a million things to do, but father to the grandfather, I would like to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I made a mistake with my child, my daughter, when she wanted to get an equestrian. I was supposed to tell her she was allergic. I didn't do that to horses because it's expensive. It's unbelievable. And you guys talked a lot about it. Now, my daughter's now going to Wilmington, Florida to compete. Okay. And I had to move the horses down there.
So she's very good, right?
Very good. Like I'm in. I'm in.
Good.
Yeah. After this is over, I'll be sweeping this place up.
Good.
Every extra dollar.
Good.
But your granddaughters and your family, did they ride horses as well? Did they do equestrian?
Not too much. They like it. They do it maybe a little bit, but not like your daughter. No, your daughter's supposed to be very, like you, a talented athlete, right?
Yeah.
You can see it. Now I've heard that.
Yeah, my son plays baseball at the travel league. So I'm the GM. The way I look at it, if you're the first one in, last one to leave, daddy invests. Right. I just forgot to put a salary cap.
A
little cheaper.
A little bit less.
It never ends, though.
It never ends. No.
But we're going to be in Wilmington. How far is Wilmington from Mar-a-Lago?
So Wilmington is about 20 minutes away.
Can I get a group rate?
Yes. You're going to come over. We're going to have dinner with your daughter and your family, your wife. We're going to come over and have dinner. But do you mean Wellington or Wilmington?
Wilmington. I say it wrong because I just paid to have the horses moved, so it's a little traumatic for me.
It could be, but it's either one's about 20, 25 minutes to come over. I'd love to have you on.
Thank you, sir.
No, but you're a terrific guy. Look, it's that show has caught on, and the whole group is great. But I've always watched you. You always were defending me, and a lot of people don't defend me, and I like people that defend me because I think I'm doing the right thing.
Why wouldn't anybody have this man's back? Why would you not want to have the president's back on all the policy that he is putting out there right now? Don't you want your country back? Don't you want it run efficiently? I do. And I think most of the Americans do. All right. We're tired of people, spitting in our ear, blowing smoke. Just tell it to us truthfully. Just tell the American people out there, shoot them straight. Be honest. Let them decide for themselves what needs to happen. At least we can see it coming. That's all we ask. That's all we want. That's all the Americans want. Just tell us the damn truth, and we'll move on from there. Just like Tyrus just said.
I'm not allergic to straight talk.
Yeah.
And every man of consequence that I learned from in my life never bullshitted nothing with me. Mm-hmm. Whether it was Dusty Rhodes, whether it was my football coaches, whether it was anybody I was with, they always told it to me straight, even when I didn't like what I wanted to hear, because I always believed everybody can handle bad news and good news, but no news and bullshit. Don't piss down my back, as my grandmother used to say, and tell me it's rain. And that's one thing that you have never done. You always, if you don't want to hear it, because the American people can accept bad news. Because when we know how bad it is, then we can look forward to getting it better. And that's, in this age of endorsements, that's why you have my endorsement, Mr. President. You can take that, a cup of coffee, and do whatever you want with it.
It means a lot to me. It does. But, I think this is going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
I agree.
This was a great sit-down interview that Tyrus had with the people's president, President Trump. They more or less had a one-on-one, just talking stuff, just talking sports, family, a little bit of policy, not much. And then, of course, Tyrus brought up some ideas. He threw it out there to the president and say, hey, think about this, if you were to be elected. So make sure you go down and like and subscribe to our channel. It's a brand new channel. If you're getting value from this content, we would appreciate it. But that's going to do it for us this evening. I appreciate you listening in and watching. But make sure everybody get out there and vote. Get out there and vote early. Get out there and vote as soon as you can, because this is, and I can't stress this enough, this is the most important election that we will probably ever see. So make sure you get out there. Make sure you take your family members with you. I'm actually going Saturday to vote for myself. And let's get this president back to the White House. That's going to do it for us. I appreciate it. Till next time.